Yes. This is Unity Web TV, Einar Sørby, and we have our guest today is William Two Feather from New Mexico, was it?
Yes, yes.
And he's Apache Indian, and is on a mission. But before the mission, I'm a little bit interested about what's happened before. I haven't looked some on the internet, and I've also been talking to you, and you've been a very rough guy before you were into this spiritual business. You've been in Navy SEALs, you've been doing business,
actually, I was
all
in
these
the
things.
Marine Corps, Special Forces.
Corps, yeah, Special Forces.
Special Forces, yes.
And then you learned to be a rough guy now.
Martial arts too. I've been training martial arts. 4th degree black belt in Kung Fu, and I'm also the United States knife fighting champion, current title holder.
Yes. But all these things you have been doing before, anything you regret?
Well, you know, life's a big journey, and people in my field of expertise, which is the healing arts, I find come from a bit of rough background. We're not sissy, Nancy, la-la kind of people. We've had some rough knocks, and I've had some rough knocks. Very blessed childhood. Me and my 1 year younger brother, my mom and dad were married until we were grown-ups. And I was always a academic scholar in school because of academics, and I was always in athletics. I was always captain of the team. I was the one shooting water polo, breaking records for. But then on the other hand, I've had a bit of a rough life because of my martial art background. And I probably have a good 200 street fights under my belt. Bar fights, bar brawls, street brawls, whatever you want. And they've all been because I've felt myself the defender of the underdogs, and 5 guys are beating somebody up, and I jump in and say, hey, you get them one at a time. And you know, this causes a lot of scars on my knuckles and a lot of bad breeding, you know, and a lot of bad things. And
but you learned a great deal about this then.
This I learned, you know, and I never consciously went out and just beat somebody up for the sake of doing it. It's just been the loudmouth, the abusive person, the man who's hitting the female and stuff like that that are just against my standards, and I'm willing to bleed about it if once upon a time, you know, before I become a priest.
Yeah. But what happened? What did happen to change you from this street life to the spiritual life? What happened?
You know, it was kind of like my mom always knew, someday, son, I know you will turn around and be a nice guy. Not that I was a not nice guy, I was just a little rough around the edges. And what happened one day is, you know, I was in the Marine Corps and I went to the war, and I said if there was a God, they wouldn't let this happen, and I gave God away. And I grew up as a good Catholic, catechism, Catholic school, you know, all that stuff. And then I gave God away, and I was a young man. I went into Marine Corps at 17, Special Forces, and I came out at 20 before I was 21. And when you're young like that and you haven't walked the earth long enough, you don't really know what it really is yet, because you haven't been here long enough on the earth to find out. And then one day, this medicine man said to me, you, come with me.
When was that? Was that 15 years ago?
That was over 25 years ago.
25 years ago?
Yeah, because I studied 10 years with 3 teachers, and then I've been doing healing work about 15 years, so that's 25 years ago. And this person pointed their finger and said, you come with me, and I said, there was 10 people around him, you know, so teach me, and the teacher wasn't interested in teaching them, pointed at me. I go, well, what'd I do? I said, well, where are we going, and what's your name anyway, you know, who are you? Just walk with me, son. I said, oh man, I knew if a medicine man says this, you're going to get one of 2 things. You're going to get your butt kicked, or you're going to get a blessing. And I was like, oh, I haven't done nothing wrong lately, you know, I've always been looking over my shoulder for one reason or another. Now, I haven't done nothing for a while, you know, so well, what does he want with me? And then next thing you know, I got a teaching, and then I got a lesson, and I was like, oh, that was pretty good. And then my teacher, who wasn't my teacher yet, said I should come around, you know, and do a little stuff, and then the process was on. There's a testing period between the teacher and the would-be apprentice. And the teacher will test you as long as they want. In my 3 instances, my teachers tested me a year each. and they put me in situations and they put me with challenges to see what I'm going to do. And judged on what I would do, then they decide whether they're going to be my teacher or not.
But what's your mission then? You have been writing books.
Yes, for
you
11
have
years.
5 books you're trying to print now.
No, I put 5 books on the table right now. I got 5 books.
Yeah.
And it took 11 years of writing. The first 7 or 8 were writing here, writing there, and the last 3 or 4 years were dedicated writing. And my 3 elders, my teachers, said that with them the knowledge goes 6 feet under the ground, because our young people in our indigenous tribes are not so actively seeking our history. They want to gangbang, they want to pimp hoes, and they want to drug dealing, they want to be pregnant at 12 years old, they don't have to go to school, everything's given to them. Why should they do anything? So my teachers were knowing that the time of change was coming, 2012 in the end, and they needed a champion, so to speak, to stand up and share the teachings with the world.
Okay, so these books of yours is the message from the Indians to the Western world.
From oral tradition of Indian people, from grandfather to grandson, from grandmother to granddaughter, this oral tradition that's been our way, kept like this, has been so for a reason, because our seers said when the stars all line up in a certain alignment, then the east gates open up, and that was called a harmonic convergence. And from that time the east gates open up, and that's why my teachers started training me before the east gates opened up, so that I would be the one to go to the world. And they said, basically, they asked me, do your knees bend to anyone on this world? And I said, no. My knees bend to no one on this world. Only one person my knees bend to, and that's Creator, because I say so. Not because Creator tells me I must. And
okay,
so,
but now you're going around the world. You're doing healing, readings.
Card readings, 1 year in the future. I train healers, which I call planting my seeds. And I've been doing this for 15 years in many countries. And my objective is to train the healers, which is a seed in the ground. And then the healers go and they get their experience and they do what they're supposed to do. And the seeds grow up and they give fruits. And you know, trees don't give one fruit, they give a whole bunch of fruits at one time. So my students say, oh, so thank you so much for coming here to train me. I says, I'm not here to train you. I'm here to serve the people that you're going to serve in the future, because with the training that comes from our indigenous generations of background, you will then go to your communities and heal your people in your respective areas, and them are the people who I serve.
Why is it very important to heal lots of people now?
Because in all of our history, there's always been these conspiracy people. Oh, 2000, all the computers are going to shut down, and then in the harmonic convergence, the aliens are going to land, and the Paul Joneses, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So what it is now is that it would take a whole lifetime for a person to learn one epiphany of knowledge. And now that we're getting closer to 2012, when the Earth Mother is going to heal herself, necessity is the mother of invention. And things, we call it the quickening. Things are going faster and faster and faster. So now instead of a whole lifetime to learn one epiphany, you can get 2 epiphanies in a week. Like the class I just taught last night, I've only taught it 5 times.
Yeah. But I want you to just tell me what it's important for people to get healed and fix their traumas and everything.
Yes.
That's very important before 2012, or what's
Mind, body,
is that
and
the big
spirit.
deal?
Yeah, the big deal is that we're going to begin the 1,000 years of bliss. We're going to begin the new society of human beings and the Mother Earth. And in this society, the Nancy Lala say, oh, well, I'm in the light and I'm full of love and I'm going to be the only one that survives. Excuse me, there's always going to be a balance in the world. The thing is now that the monetary system is going to go away, the government's going to go away, the politics all this stuff, we're going to go back to our tribal roots. And it's so important, people now who've been waiting for how many generations to incarnate in this lifetime to be here at that time of change. And so basically one of my missions is to train 10 leaders after the time of change in tribal ways of Native American administration, which is not a democracy. We're not going to vote. There's not going to be the majority of voices. It's going to go back to a tribal system, and that's what I'm here for. I'm going to train these 10 people the angels are going to send to me. I'm going to heal them, and I'm going to train them and feed them and send them off in the 4 directions. And they're going to be the leaders of this next 1,000 years. We're going to live to be 300, 400 years old. Even myself, I'm the edge. I'm going to live to be over 130 years old. I've seen it in my dreams, and I'm not even halfway yet.
You're going to have a great life then.
I hope so.
Yes.
So
I think
come on,
we've gone through the... Do you have...
chew on me a little bit. Where's the meat?
The meat is finished. But, you told me very much interesting things, but we don't have much time here. But can you, in the last part now, just give a message to the world?
Yes.
I want to tell one thing more. Is William Twofellow is going to be on the Alternative Messe the 18th to the 20th of November, this 2011.
One of the largest metaphysical gatherings in all of Europe.
Yes, and he's going to be there giving free, small teachings or
Little
consolations. Yeah.
Little consultations.
Yeah, there you can talk with him and get. And he's going to have a course straight before it and one afterwards.
Yes,
Look at the Unity website. A message for the world. What's your innermost urge to tell people in the world now?
You know, if we walk a good walk on this earth, and nobody's perfect, we all make mistakes in our past, you know. Jesus said himself, let the first person with no sin cast the first stone, you know, who's without sin, to Mary Magdalene. And the message I would say to the world is to learn from your mistakes, ask what is the teaching in these hard times, and walk in a good way. Do things in a good way and with a good heart, and be in service to others. And when we leave this earth, there's very little we can take with us, but one of them is your spiritual bank account. And yes, I've made mistakes like anyone else in this world. I don't regret my mistakes, but I do know that I've learned from them. And I believe that I've grown bigger than them. And the things that I've done in the past that I'm not so proud of, that I will learn from them and grow from them. And share from the hard lessons that I had to learn from war and from fighting in the streets, and to learn from these lessons and to use that to provide fulfillment for yourselves, to serve other people and to help them and do it in a good way. And there must be some kind of exchange, because I'm over here on the other side of the world. Guess what? It was $1,500 for the airplane ticket. It was $1,300 to drive my car through the toll roads, and every time I eat a hamburger it's $25. What? $25 to eat a hamburger and french fries? Yeah, don't ask for a milkshake, because then it's going to be $30-something. So for this, there needs to be an exchange. And that's just the way of the world. If you call in a plumber, you got to pay the plumber. If you call in an electrician, you got to pay the electrician. And say, oh, medicine man, healer, you're supposed to do it for free. So that, how can I go to the next place if I can't pay the toll road? They don't understand. And when I need a place to stay at night when it's cold, and all I want is a blanket like anybody else, the hotel don't understand, you don't got no money, so you don't get to sleep in the hotel. So people say I'm selling ceremony, and it's just a bunch of BS. I'm only, no matter how much money I make, my car at home is 20 years old. And when I go back home to America, I got a 20-year-old car to go to. People say I'm all this rich guy, but my bank account's negative most of the time. And even if I make $20,000 tomorrow, in 3 days, there isn't $20,000 no more, and I'm still struggling because somebody got my iPod. They wanted it more than me, and I want to buy another iPod, but I have to pay for the boat to go to Copenhagen, and then I got to pay for the booth to sell my books, and then I got to pay the entrance fees for the film festival.
Yes. I think just 1 minute left, and we'll just wrap it up. I think you have told your whole life in 15 minutes now, so
Yeah.
I think this is
To,
great.
to wrap it up, a lot of these
20
people
seconds.
that say bad things about me, and you think you're harming me and hurting me, I want to say thank you, and I will pray for you, because anybody who listens to anonymous this about anonymous that about anonymous that, you should not be in my classes, because you should not carry the kind of knowledge that I carried from my grandparents and from my forefathers.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Danjo.